We built this covered pergola ourselves 2 years ago and it's still standing. So I'm going to show you step by step how we did it, covering everything from the structure to the roof, all those little details that make it look finished and where you can save money without compromising the look.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today's video has been highly requested over on my Instagram, and to be honest I've been putting it off for a long time because I have got a lot of footage to go back through, so this is going to take me a while to do. So give it a like and a comment if you appreciate the content and it helps you. I say pergola. I'm from South London, that's how I pronounce it. I know other people say pergola. I just can't say pergola. It doesn't sound like me saying it, so pergola is how I say it. Just a little backstory, we are not builders. I'm definitely not a builder, and my husband is not a builder either. These are just tips and things that we found through researching ourselves and a lot of trial and error. But this pergola was built 2 years ago this month. 2 years, and it has been through a couple of storms and it is still standing, so we've done something right. Let's get into it.
First thing, before you even start, you need a plan. Measurements, layout, all of it. It might not be the most exciting part, but it will save you a world of stress later on. For the main structure, we used fence posts as our uprights. Now they're not the prettiest option, but they're a much more budget-friendly way of doing it. That said, the front post was a bit too rough for me to look at every day. So I clad that one in smooth treated timber, which I'll show you properly how we did that at the end. Because we were building on top of our patio, we anchored the posts using metal post bases in a colour that blends in with the tiles. If you're building on grass or soil though, you'll need to dig post holes and set them in concrete instead. We marked out exactly where each base would go, drilled through the patio tiles, added wall plugs and screwed everything into place. And a really important tip, before fixing your posts in, make sure you paint the base of the timber. Fence posts aren't always fully treated at the end, and if you skip this step, they will rot over time. To get everything lined up nice and straight along the fence, we ran string between each post. And when I say we went back and forth adjusting them, I mean a lot. Leveling each one properly takes patience, but it will make all the difference to the final result. You don't want a wonky pergola. Once the vertical posts were in, we moved on to the horizontal beams using timber to tie the whole structure together. I won't lie, this part is a bit of a headache. You're trying to secure the beams without knocking your posts out of alignment at the same time. We also notched the timber so it slotted neatly into the uprights, which gave it a much cleaner, more secure finish. It definitely took longer than we expected, and there was a lot of disagreements along the way, but we got there in the end. Update. So everything that could have gone wrong yesterday went wrong. So this post wasn't fitting, so we had to take them off and then paint the bottoms of them so they were still treated, and then screw them in. These brackets are going to be covered with wood. You're not going to see them. You can probably tell from that clip that I was done by this point, but to be fair, that was the hardest part over with. Now it was attaching at the base of the roof. We used lighter brackets for this so it would blend in with the finished paint colour. Once the beams along the top were on, it felt so much more sturdy and like a proper structure. After that, it was on to the easier and more satisfying part. We added roof battens to create that slatted look along the back. They are a great budget option, although they can be a bit rough to start with. But with some sanding and a couple coats of paint, they come up beautifully. We fixed the battens vertically along the back, added a black weed membrane behind them for contrast and to stop anything growing through from the trees behind. For spacing, I cut some MDF into small blocks and used those as guides the whole way along to keep each batten even. For the colour, I used Cuprinol Natural Stone. This is my absolute favourite garden shade. I did start painting a bit prematurely as we still had the roof to do. But in my defence, it took 3 full days, so at least I gave myself a head start. Now on to the roof. Of course, the day we planned to do it, it rained. Very on brand for the UK. But if anything, it just confirmed why we wanted a covered pergola in the first place. Because let's be honest, a good 90% of summer here is unpredictable. We use plywood sheets as the base layer. They are heavy. So although we manage with 2 people, I definitely recommend recruiting a strong friend if you can. So some of the roof is on.
We are undecided whether to leave this gap because eventually we're going to have the outdoor kitchen here. So if anyone's sitting underneath here, we don't want them to get smoked out, and also it still lets light in. So I don't know.
So we did actually leave that bit open, which does still let light into our dining room. So I'm glad we didn't cover it over. On top of the plywood, we added corrugated roofing sheets. At the time, these were about £15 each from Wix's, so a really cost-effective option. We installed them at a slight angle to allow rainwater to run off towards the back. Luckily, we don't have anyone directly behind us, but if your pergola backs onto a neighbour's garden, you'll probably want to think about adding guttering to manage the runoff. I didn't want to see the joins of the plywood when you looked up from inside the pergola, so I added some buttons along each joint to give it like a panelled effect on the ceiling. I caulked and filled this and then obviously painted it the same colour as the walls.
The moment of truth with the rain. Has it leaked?
It looks like it's okay. The finishing touches are what really make a difference and elevate the whole build. One thing I didn't love was being able to see the corrugated roof sheetings from the front. It just looked really unfinished. So we added a length of plain timber across the front, slightly higher up to act as a sort of soffit. It's a small detail, but makes the whole structure look so much better. I also wanted the front post to feel a little bit more like a feature rather than just a structural element, so I clad it using 4 pieces of smooth plain timber again. Not only does it hide the roughness of the fence post, but it also neatly conceals the bracket at the base, which makes everything look a lot more polished. I do still need to box in the other visible bracket along the back of the pergola, but that's one of those I'll get round to it one day jobs. The garden furniture is from the White Stores and it's called the Grace Lounge Set. The outdoor rug is from IKEA. Hanging baskets are from the range and the lanterns are also from the range. And the fire pit that you can see in the background is from Temu.
I hope you found this video helpful. Leave me a comment. What would you like me to cover next? We have DIY'd a lot of other things in our house. We have done media walls, dining booths, panelling throughout our house. We've built an office, raised flower beds. So if there's any other videos you'd like me to do next to film, let me know in the comments. And also let me know if you do try making your own pergola yourself. I'd love to see it. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'll leave my handles in the description. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you again next week with a vlog. Bye!